your generator. This bank of batteries right here, we have 8 6-volt batteries wired in series. So it's a 12-volt system that goes into the inverter. So these 8 batteries right here, I think they're 800 amps per hour is the way that they rate them, something like that. But the inverter changes the power from 12 volt to 120 volt, just like you have at your house, or 110 volt. So anything that plugs in is running through the inverter or through the generator. So they're running off of this battery system. The inverter also charges that. We talked a little bit about the charging. It all happens automatically. You don't need to switch anything or turn anything on or anything like that. These 4 12-volt batteries right here are your DC power. So you've got 2 systems, AC power, DC power. DC power is 12 volt. So anything that plugs into like a cigarette lighter, any of our lights that say DC power, anything that would run in your car would run off of that. So all of your water pumps, a lot of your lights run off of that. Anything that's like boat or marine specific, or like for an RV, would run off of that. So
did we try those new light bulbs? Did those work?
I don't think we have.
Did you?
No, I didn't put it in.
Did you check the water level?
We
this year
did.
yet?
Yep.
For the batteries? They're all good?
They're all good. And that's on, like, it was on the check on, check off list. And I don't think it's important to check them every single time you get on and off the boat. It's important to check them like annually or semi-annually, but every
beginning of
single
the year
time,
for sure, where they
exactly
can dry out over the winter.
Yeah. So anyway, to keep an eye on them is great. But the best thing that we can do for the batteries is, if we're working the batteries, the lowest 20% of the batteries all the time, like the batteries are dead and then we charge them up 20%, we're going to kill our batteries. If you can get them between like the 40 and 80% level all the time, your batteries are going to last so much longer. So right down here, I don't know if everybody can see this, but it says Magnum Energy right there on the top. That guy right there is the jump switch. So the way that this battery system or battery bank charges is the same as that battery bank through that switch. So it charges through the inverter, through that switch there as well. So it does a great job. Because of that, you do have to run, charging all these batteries, you do have to run a good amount of time. So we already talked about that. This guy below it says guest on the top of it. That is the charger for the other 3 batteries. So your starboard and port side motor, and then your generator. So we spent a lot of time kind of rewiring and reconfiguring things. The only things that should be connected to those batteries are the engines. Don't start hooking all kinds of stuff up to it. The auxiliary pump does run off of that motor, off of the battery, the gas pump, and also the davit runs off of that motor battery. So just keep that in mind.
Is that what
davit? Yeah. The crank. So
the zip line.
The zip line. The boat anchor, whatever. Any questions back here with the charging systems? Let's just say the electrical charging systems.
Let's say we come here, engine battery's dead. One or the other.
Okay.
Jump it from where?
One thing I would check very first is, do you have power coming into the boat?
Okay.
So your engine batteries are dead. Why are they dead? Because if you've got power coming into the boat, they're being charged. They should be totally full.
It used to be because the pump went, someone left the pump running. When we had that situation, the engine battery was dead when it's attached to the water pump. Someone had left the water pump on.
Okay. Even if the water pump's left on, though,
it should be charging.
The water pump's on right now. It's not pumping water.
But is that new though? That gas thing?
The gas thing.
The gas thing. That one that's
Gas.
charging the.
No.
Huh.
Yeah, it's been on here since we've been on the boat. So anyway, think through those things rather than just finding a solution. Let's think proactive and let's think, why is the battery dead? Was something left on? Is it not charging? It's got to be one of those two things. Something was left on and something's not charging. Or we've got a bad battery. So if we've got a bad battery, let's replace it or let's fix the problem. Everybody's really anxious to grab a pair of jumper cables and just fire it up and get out there. Well, what happens when you fire it up and get out there and one of your engines stalls and you can't start it again? Or you've just connected a set of jumper cables back here, you've got to draw on one battery, and now it's draining everything else. Does that make sense? A good thing to do, check and make sure you've got power there first. Make sure that the systems are charging. If you do have power there, then it could be a battery issue or something else.
Can you keep a spare battery down in here?
We used to. We don't have one right now. It would be really easy though to disconnect one of these batteries right here and use one of those batteries. Yeah.
One of the DC
So-
batteries.
Yeah, disconnect the two cables, that connect those together. Disconnect them completely and jump off of that. So it's isolating the system. We're not connecting another system to another battery. So another thing you could do as well, let's say we don't have power here, power's been off, caused some type of problem there, turn your generator on. Turn your generator on, have it start charging your batteries up again. A good thing you can do as well is that generator battery, the only thing connected to it is the generator. That's it. So that should have juice all the time. It shouldn't be draining down because something was left on or whatever. So you should be able to start up your generator. Once it's started, you could start jumping from that generator battery as well. So, any questions there? Did that answer the question? Okay. A lot of the plugs too will run off of this inverter system. There are some plugs that don't run on the inverter system. They only work while you're plugged into shore power or the generator's running. So you'll just start to figure
Those are
out
labeled,
what
the ones that say
Inverter.
labeled with inverter, and the rest that aren't labeled are